So this is the 6th lecture on the Archetypes of Literature by Dr. Frye. See the 5th lecture with the title Natural Cycles and Archetypes. The archetypes recur and repeat. On the board it is written 4th, but actually it is the 5th lecture. I apologize for my mistake. On the board it is written 4th lecture, but actually it is 5th lecture. So you will find in this series, the board, there will be 2 4th lectures. So one is 4th and the second 4th is 5th. I think that is clear to you. Okay. Now the origin of narratives you will find in rituals. A ritual is a temporal sequence of acts. You can say temporal means time. This ritual takes place in time. It is bound by time. For example, it can happen in the morning, evening, night. The certain rituals are at night. And within this ritual, temporal sequence means one action comes after the other. You can see now some gestures used in rituals. I can show you like this now. Salute like this, bend like this, do like this, and then they bless in this way. Again they lift their hands like this and bless people, see, or throw like this. A ritual throwing. We will throw like this now, but the ritual throwing can be like this. Or you can be swaying like this. Swaying, using certain powder or some things like that. And for that also they use kind of throw like this, isn't it? Or a procession is also a ritual. You will find during the ritual, the procession as ritual, you will find people moving. In between, you will find people dancing. Sometimes you will find people getting into frenzy. So this happens one after the other in time. So the ritual is a temporal sequence of acts in which a conscious meaning or significance is found. There is a meaning for this. Each act has a meaning. Say marriage, for example. Marriage is a ritual. You can see first the bride comes. In certain cultures, the bride comes, then the bridegroom comes, and together they stand at a particular place. Then there is a procession. If it is church, they enter the church. If it is the temple, they will go and they will go there. And then after worshipping the deity, the concerned deity, there will be a stage. On the stage, they go and sit, and there is exchange of garlands. See, in certain other you will find exchange of rings and exchange of gold chains, and there will be a pujari or a priest who will be conducting the whole ritual. So what is happening is what we should try to understand. This is temporal sequence. Something that happens in time, that's the thing. One after the other, temporal sequence. And it has a meaning. Sometimes the meaning is latent. Latent means it is hidden. But the observers can easily understand it. The participants may not understand it. Participants may not be conscious of it, that's the thing. Because they are surrounded by people. Say in the case of marriage. So there what happens is, so what is a ritual? I think now it is clear. Actions. One after another with meaning. Then what happens is the pull of ritual is towards narrative. Why? Because when you have these rituals, there is a tendency to write about it. That is what is meant by saying pull of the ritual is towards narrative. Mantras and so on. There will be incantations, then mantras, mysterious words are used. So together, the whole thing becomes a narrative. The narrative acts are or we can say automatic and unconscious repetitions. Most of these acts are automatic and unconscious repetition because you see this every time. Take the example of marriage. So that is a ritual. And then the things that is happening there, it's automatic. This you are not creating anything new. So the tendency of a ritual is encyclopedia. Means what happens is that found everywhere. Is there any culture or society where you don't have a marriage ritual? Is there any society or culture where you don't have a initiation ceremony? Say for example, the Christians they have baptism. Then the Hindus they take this child to the temple and give him food. The first in our place we call it giving them rice and ghee and rice. That is. So different cultures follow different. Like that, for example, when you are initiating a child to learning, see, there is a ritual for that. So this all the actions in the ritual takes place in time, one after another, and the rituals always have the tendency to become encyclopedic. Plus, the rituals have a tendency towards the pull towards narrative. So that is then ritual. What happens to the ritual? Rituals become archetypes. Where you find these things they recur, and also you will find that they are repeated. All the important occurrences in nature you will find, say the day, seasons, phases of the moon, waxing and waning, solstices of the year, the crisis and the existence, the crisis of the critical moments in the life of a person from birth to death. That is the existence of a person from birth to death. You will find get rituals attached to them. For example, a day, ritual is attached. You start with a morning prayer, right? So then seasons, there will be myths, vegetation myths. Or say in the time of harvesting, there is a ritual. Time of sowing, there is rituals. Planting, there you will find rituals. So in this way, there is in South India, I think it is called Vishu Day. So that is the day when you are worshipping Bhumi Devi, that is the goddess earth. So that is again a ritual. So everything connected with the human beings and nature. So that is the synchrony. Human energy and the energy of nature, they become synchronous. And it is because for that, not because for that, that these rituals are maintained and also rituals are enacted. And always remember, rituals will have a pull towards narrative. Means narrative is telling about them. Higher religions are equipped with a large number, definitive and total body of rituals you will find, suggestive of the entire range of potentially significant actions in human life. Say the Jews, there you remember, there each day, each hour of the day is governed by rituals in the life of a Jew. Each day, Pharisees, you have heard of the Pharisees. They are the people who make law and they interpret law. For some of the laws of the Pharisees are once upon a time, I don't know now, the Bible it is said, I read it from the Bible that there was a Sabbath, for example. On Sabbath day, if your ox or a sheep falls into a well, you are not supposed to rescue that animal, because that is against the Sabbath rules. So like that, for everything there was ritual. So a higher religion, supposed to be the Judaism is supposed to be a higher religion. So in such religions, each and every moment of a human being, animals, nature, everything is governed by rituals. See the human life. And then you have got another thing is called oracles. Rituals, oracles, they are connected. Oracles are what are they? They are patterns of energy. See, they are also fragments of significance. Energy. For example, you remember the Oracle of Delphi. Whenever the Greeks they had problems, they go to Oracle of Delphi and they will get they will get some advice. So they move according to that. In Oedipus, we can see that. Orestes myth, we can see that. And yes, for example, in the Trojan War, you will see that. So they go to the oracle to see what is happening in future. What will happen if happen in future? So this happens, and this not only these oracles they appear in our day-to-day life as proverbs. Some as riddles, some as folk tales, etiological folk tales. You can see. So proverb is an oracle. When you say, and it is packed with energy. And another thing about oracle is it is not time bound. It can happen anytime. For example, if I say, suppose you take this as an oracle, no pain, no gain. It is not a particular person addressed to a particular person or a particular community, or it need not take place at a particular period of time. It can be any, so it's not bound by time. Proverbs, riddles. You can see now the riddles of the witches. How the witches managed to hoodwink Macbeth through their riddles. Like fair is foul, foul is fair, and then Bernamut, till Bernamut comes to dance Dane, nobody will hurt you. No, these are not exact words, this is what is meant by the witches. And there are tales, folk tales like this, telling you about certain, teaching you some moral lessons and so on. So, these are not bound or not a particular period or particular group of people or a particular time applicable only to a particular time. No, it is applicable any time. No gain, no pain. It is universal. So, oracles are also like this. Means oracles appear in the form of proverbs, riddles and this folk tales. For example, you will find the riddles by, say, Tiresias in the wasteland. You will find they are connected with him riddles and also oracles. You will find. So these things are not time bound. That's the point. There is an epiphany in that. Epiphany means enlightenment, revealing, revelation, epiphanic moments on the flash of instantaneous, a flash of instantaneous comprehension you will find. But you can understand it like this. No direct reference to time. That's what is timeless. Riddles. So epiphanic means this is, for example, you see in the Bible there is a time when Jesus Christ is baptized. Then you hear an epiphany there. This is my son in whom I am pleased. See that? So that is an epiphany, a revelation. Understand that? As a human being may be a Messiah, so that is the Messiah myth we can see. Those who are not believers in the Christian religion, they consider this as a Messiah myth from which you find the oracles of Judaism. Messiah myth is loaded with oracles of Judaism. Prophets, the books of the prophets, all are riddles and also oracles and stories, folk tales. So that is what we say, moments of revelation or epiphany. Epiphany is if it is a typical word, you can see epiphany. Epiphany. So the first point you remember is rituals, isn't it? and what are rituals, etc. we told you. Second is oracles. Oracles. They pull, as I told you, they have a tendency to become narratives. That's the point. And what is literature after? Finally, it is narrative. And these things, these are repeated, and therefore we said these are archetypes. I think, and these oracles also have got an encyclopedic range like our rituals. And then comes the most important of all these, that is myths. Myths. Now, what happens is, see, in myths, you find power, and you find also significance. What gives significance and meaning to rituals and oracles? The myths. See, you have got the myths connected with that Sibyl of Cumae. Sibyl of Cumae. Now, what happens is the oracles that is related or connected with her, Sibyl of Cumae, that those oracles get meaning or significance because of the myths of this that is Sibyls, and especially Sibyl of Cumae. You remember now we came across the Sibyl of Cumae in the epigraph used by T.S. Eliot in at the beginning of the poem, The Wasteland. Nam Sibyllam Kiddam Cumis ego ipse oculis mei vidi in ambla pendre. You remember that, no? I told I have given a lecture on that, that's why I remember this now. And then, et cum illi pueri dicerent Sibylla titeles respondebat illa apothanim telo. That is Latin and Greek. So there what happens is, he says, the free translation is there, I saw the Sibyl of Cumae hanging in a pendant or a cage or a jar, actually, it's a jar. And then the children asked her, Sibyl, what do you want? She replied, I want to die. Apothanim telo. Telo means end. Apothanim means separation. I want to get separated from this world. And in fact, it is a riddle. Understand? It's a riddle also. You can consider it as a riddle also. So there you are. So what I am trying to tell you is, myths, from myths give significance to oracles, and also this now we saw another thing. What is the first one? Rituals. Rituals and oracles actually they are generated by, or they are born, the origin you will find in myths, in various myths. T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland is loaded with myths. The Hyacinth girl, that is a myth, and plenty number of them. Yes, I need not explain this further, because there will be chance for us to. Already I have explained in this in that lecture on the wasteland, but this is not the time for that. No, it's not a focus. It's not our focus. So myth. So remember, that is rituals, oracles. They get their significance and meaning from where? From myths. And myths are archetypes. Myths found everywhere. Is there any culture without a myth? No, not at all. Myths are narratives. Archetypes, then it is significance. All the myths are narratives. When they become archetypes, where they recur and they are repeated in literature, repeatedly found in literature, they get significance or meaning. That's the thing. For example, already as we have seen, solar cycle of the day, seasons of the year, and organic cycle of human life. These are connected with myths. Solar cycle of the day, the dawn, the noon, the evening. So what is the solar cycle of the dawn? Spring, birth, Easter, Easteron. Easteron means sunrise. Mature, at noon, mature. Evening, it is becoming weak. Then night disappears. So this is what happens to every human being. Born, grows up, mature, get evening of the life, they decide. See, how is it connected with your life? That is. So, in fact, if you look at this theory, you will find that this is very reasonable, very logical, and very intelligible, you will find. Seasons, every season has a ritual. Connected a myth also. For example, you remember that in the wasteland we find the vegetation myths where Adonis acts Osiris. The Egyptians used to throw the effigies of these gods into the river Nile, and then that is at the end of the harvest, and then reclaim them in the beginning of the agricultural season. So that is seasonal myth. Organic cycle of human being, already I have told you. From birth to death, you are really surrounded by myths. Or I can remember that Emily Durkheim's statement, that is your life, social facts are sui generis. That means all the social facts about you are independent. You cannot do anything. You have to become a slave of that. You have to observe them. Otherwise you will be out. You will be ostracized. Say for example, a Christian is not marrying according to the rituals of marriage laid down by the Christian doctrines. You will be out. Nobody is going to receive it. This is the case with every religion. So, social facts are sui generis. Very famous statement. Social facts are sui generis. Sui generis is a Latin phrase meaning by itself. Sui generis, by itself. Suicide means death by itself, means the person himself. Suicide. So that sui generis, of its own kind. Generis means kind, of its own kind. That means it's independent. You cannot do anything with that. You have to observe. So there is a single pattern of significance you find in everything. So you start with this myth. Then you have, from there you have got myths give meaning to rituals. So vegetation means, for example, otherwise what is the meaning? Say Fraser in his Golden Bough and Carl Jung, we have already seen this now, collective unconscious, this is there. It is inbuilt in you. You can't escape from these myths and these rituals. So they are there, they are repeatedly present, they recur and they have meaning, they have significance, and therefore he says, when you are trying to find out the meaning of a text, you should also take into consideration the archetypes of literature. That's the point that we are coming, literary criticism. So you have got, out of this myth, you construct narratives, central narratives. All the central narratives of literature, you find it is somewhat the other way connected with myths. For example, around the sun you have, around vegetation, about gods. Gods, sun supposed to be a god. Why? Because once upon a time they worshipped the sun. Sun is the giver of energy. Sunrise. Suppose there is no sunrise, the sun stops rising. What will you do? Finished. So they are creating myths. Wind. Any natural power, there is a myth. Any natural power. You have got gods of the seas, god of fire, Vulcan. In Roman mythology you have Vulcan. From there you have got vulcanizing solution, vulcanizing. So every power is represented by a god. And around that god there is a story. And that story is a myth. And then from the myth you have got the rituals and the oracles. They give meaning, they give significance. I think now it is clear to you. So, it was actually Jung and Fraser, and also Jesse Weston. These are the people who foregrounded this idea of, or showed us that there is something, there is some meaning for all these things. They are not meaningless. They have got significance. These actions have got significance. Otherwise, do you think that people someday spend 10 days, 15 days for festivals? See, you have got, probably you might have heard of Thrissur Puram. Puram at Thrissur. See, how many days? It lasts for many days. So, every day you have a ritual, every day you have oracles, every day you have, every day's action is prompted by, or is based on, or rooted in, or seated in a myth. So look at that. It runs into days, not one or two. Runs into days, certain festivals. So these festivals are based on myth and they have significance. Do you think that without any meaning and any significance, people will be doing all these things? Never, no. Then what is we say offerings? No, that's a myth. Offering, that is another expression of myth. You can see some people, kilos of gold they offer to a particular deity. There is significance in that. And the person who is doing that, they have a significance. Now coming back to all these things, what is importance of myths and in literature? In literature, myths are archetypes. Means they are present, they are repeated, they recur, they are present in narratives. The very basis of a narrative is myth. When you have myth, you have got rituals. And when you have rituals, you have got oracles. Oracles and rituals like this. Because when you are going with some offering to a god or goddess, you expect that some oracle you will hear. It may be from the mouth of a pujari or a priest. The god or goddesses or the deity may not speak, but the representative of that particular deity will speak to you, saying that such and such thing will happen. Understand that? So there is, it is beautiful. Beautifully argued, I must say. I hope you are following me. So the importance of, next slide. Now I will tell you one thing. If you take, just as an example, I tell you, if you take the first few lines of the wasteland, what do you find is winter. Winter kept us warm, darkness, failure. Winter kept us warm, feeding a little life with the dried tubers. So that is, there's a myth, a darkness. Its significance is darkness, weak and failure. Because you know later that the Fisher King is wounded. And so because he is wounded and has become very weak, what happened? The land has become barren. See, a myth. That poem is based, it is mythical method, they say, like that of James Joyce in Ulysses. So that's a myth. You can see, April is the coolest month. Probably the only single line in literature where you find a total antagonism between nature and human beings. Or you can say asynchrony. Or another word, I think that would be better, is that rituals and natural cycles are supposed to synchronize. But here is a line where you find no synchrony at all. But April, one that April with the Sura Sute, sweet showers making life, etc. That should have happened. Instead, diametrically opposite thing is happening in the wasteland. See that? So that is why you are attracted towards that. In spite of the length and the difficulty, and we say multiple voices, we say about the density of images, density of myths, density of references and so on, still the poem is so famous. What is so wonderful about it, we don't know. But there is something wonderful about it. The opening itself will arrest you, you know. April is the coolest month. First time a poet, a human being has ever said this. It's a myth, a reversal of a myth. Actually the spring myth. That is, you find the opening lines of the prologue to Canterbury. That is, that should have happened. That's normal. This is abnormal. Then suddenly you find the next myth, summer season. We said no, the seasons, the day, the seasons, then you have phases of the moon and also solstices of the year. Then you find the solar cycles of the day, seasons cycles of the day, organic cycles of human being. Everything is connected with the myth, oracles and rituals. So therefore we can say the second myth there is that your seasonal myth is summer. Summer surprise is coming over the Strandbergers say with a shower of rain. We stopped in the colonnade and went down in sunlight into the Hofgarten and drank tea. Drank coffee and drank coffee. So that is another myth. That is, what you find is a myth comes alive. The myth that is connected with the summer season. First one, it is connected with the winter season. Now, you can make you can apply this archetypes of literature, this theory, and try to interpret that great poem published in 1922, written by the great poetic critic. That is poet critic, great poet critic T.S. Eliot. You can try that. So for your MA dissertation, you can try this. Even for a PhD thesis, provided you work very hard on this. When you start with the archetypes, of course, you can think about many other things also, the philosophy, the myths involved and things like that. So I think that now it is clear to you how I confused you by bringing in T.S. Eliot. If I have confused you remember only up to that point where I encroached into T.S. Eliot's poem. And this is, as I told you, a practical criticism. You can apply this and find this. Throughout the poem you will find this. And then you go to the Messiah myths. What are the roots? What are the roots that clutch what? What are the roots that clutch what? What are the roots that clutch what? Sorry, I forgot. Because I am not prepared to. What are the roots that clutch? What branches grow out of this stony rubbish, son of man? You cannot say or guess, for you know only a heap of broken images. The Messiah myth taken from that. So this is what I said. Myths are found everywhere, and the significance of that you will find in riddles, in proverbs, in folk stories, and in rituals, and all this. They have a pull towards narrative. And what is literature? Ultimately narratives. And in these narratives you find the meaning, significance. And in these narratives, these myths are repeated, they recur. Therefore, to study literature from this point of view, you should have a thorough knowledge of the background, the mythical background of every narrative. Thank you very much for listening to me. I think I haven't confused you, and we will be continuing this in the next few lectures. Till then, bye, have a nice time, enjoy your life.